Yeah, much like beer, we do better when we're refrigerated and kept cold, and we're better when we're fresh.
Welcome to HenHouse Unruffled, an audio companion to the beers of HenHouse Brewing Company. Each episode, we'll take a deeper dive into each beer's concept, recipe, can art, sensory, and more with your hen host, Fridge.
What up?
What's up, Unruffled listeners? It's Fridge, and today, my co-hosts, Bob and Sayre, will be speaking with San Francisco-based musician, drag artist, and playwright, Trixie Carr. We're super stoked to announce that Trixie will be our MC at the Freshtival 2022. Trixie's been a fixture in the SF drag scene for more than a decade. In this conversation, we hear all about Trixie's story, how drag artists have been adapting to the effect of COVID-19 on live performers, and all of her aspirations in and around craft beer. Without further ado, let's get it going.
Calling in right now, we have Trixie Carr. Trixie will be hosting the main stage at Freshtival 2022. Trixie, say hello to the people.
I'm so excited. Hello, people. I can't wait to see you out there. It's going to be so much fun.
And Trixie, my awareness of you, I think, comes from I have access to the HenHouse Instagram account. And all of a sudden it'll notify me like, hey, somebody's talking about, for example, the Walrus's Paw on the internet. And then I get treated to these fabulous lives where you're engaging with your many followers. How did that come about?
So basically, I heard about HenHouse, quite a while ago. And I remember thinking like, okay, first of all, beer is delicious. And I would love to drink more of it and try this HenHouse beer. And second of all, what if I could collaborate? Because I'm originally from Sonoma County. I have like a deep, love relationship with Sonoma County where I want to come back and do things up there. And I was like, what if sometime we could collaborate, me and HenHouse? And the only way at the time that you could collaborate on anything with anybody was online, because this was during the pandemic. Right. I got so many bright ideas during, COVID when I was stuck in my house. Mm-hmm. So the first idea was I'm on Twitch and I'm streaming weekly, with a group of Twitch followers. And one of the most fun things to do on Twitch for us was to, watch me drink and get me saucy. And then I would do lip syncs.
Fun.
Yeah. So I was like, what if I started drinking HenHouse on my Twitch shows?
What's funny is that sounds a lot like what I do, but I don't have an audience.
Yeah. I mean, you could.
Yeah. Who knew? Yeah. That's what's up. Okay. And so wait, you're from Sonoma County.
I am originally from Sonoma County. Yeah, I'm locally grown.
Which high school are we dealing with here?
Oh, wow. Oh, see, okay. Don't anybody actually look up what years, because I will not reveal those secrets. But I started out my adventure at El Molino.
Okay.
Forestville. And then, which ironically is right by Carr's Drive-In, which I never put two and two together. I'm like, my last name? Whoa. But I'm not related to Carr's Drive-In. But then I finished up my last 2 years at Santa Rosa High, because I had to try them both.
Right.
Right.
How would you know which was better if you didn't try them both?
Exactly, and they were both a lot of fun and both had their own different things. But then I went to the Harvard of the West Coast, as my economics teacher called it, Santa Rosa Junior College too.
Go Bearcats.
So,
yeah. Was that Maggie Fishman by any chance? Because I feel like that's something she would say.
No, it wasn't. But don't out me on the years that it was.
I can say, as someone who grew up here and could not wait to dip and therefore avoided SRJC, everyone I know who went to SRJC got a far more intense educational experience than I did at the UC that I attended, which is largely my fault. Largely my fault. But yeah,
I thought I was going to leave. I was like, I got to get out of this town and I got to go. And also, wait, what's that grant money like that you'll pay for 2 years of education? I am one of the only people that I know that came out of college, because later on I went to SF State, that came out of college without debt. I did it.
Huge.
Yeah.
Remarkable accomplishment.
Thank you, SRJC. Thank you, SF State.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Shout out to public education.
Yeah, publicly funded public education.
Indeed. But you did.
And that's how I managed to become drag queen and stay broke for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Well, then not having that debt came in really handy.
Yeah, you can afford to be broke.
Exactly. I can afford to live in and not have a crazy paying job for now. Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, during the pandemic, all the drag queens, so, well, not all the drag queens, but a lot of us went online because we're used to going out and, hustling at bars and doing shows and all these nightlife events, and everything was just like boosh, like shut down. So it was pretty scary. It was like, what do we do?
Yeah, that's definitely like an aspect of drag culture that didn't like cross my mind. Like, how do you can't perform, so you got to take it online. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Way to survive.
Yeah. It was definitely interesting too, to be like, we're going on the gamer site. Like, I hadn't even heard of Twitch. And then it was like, there's going to be a drag show. And so now I feel like, there's this whole other aspect. Like, Twitch started out as mostly, a kind of gaming site, really focused on that, and turned into this like live streaming clubs and live streaming DJs, live streaming drag queens, all these different things. And so a lot of nights I was definitely behind the camera drinking a HenHouse, playing games with people and singing lip sync.
Awesome.
During the pandemic. And then from that, I was like, I need to do like little Instagram posts and reels and stuff, just to kind of keep collabing, even though I'm not actually there. And now finally, I get to actually be there with you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, with us, 80 other breweries, 13-ish purveyors for the SoCo market, probably, good handful of artists in the art gallery, 4 bands on the stage. Sarah Vinyl Collective DJing. So it is, and I say all that to say, in a lot of these conversations we're having about the Freshtival, I think one of the most exciting aspects of it is just the return to being in community that it is going to represent for a lot of these people, and hopefully we're bringing a pretty broad community to the table here. I think it's going to be a really fun mix of cultures alongside a bunch of really fresh beer.
Yeah. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be like a stew of human culture. And then the beer is the liquid in the stew.
Right. Yeah. Beer braised human culture.
Yeah, beer braised human culture.
All right.
I mean, beer is great for cooking. It's definitely great for food. Not that you want to waste a good one necessarily, but I've done it many a time and not regretted it.
A wonderful thing to do with stale beer while we're on the subject.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you're a Sonoma County native, and I read that you were affiliated with Humboldt County Pride at one point.
So Mendocino County Pride, because I think the further north, the broader it gets, right? So that it's like Humboldt, Ukiah, anywhere like Lake County. It was like, hey, way north people, Pride. Right. That was so much fun. So we took over kind of downtown Ukiah, the giant sprawling downtown Ukiah.
Trey Metropolitan.
And, yes, I mean, it very much felt like the community up there wanted and needed and appreciated, having a Pride event so much. And it was a great time. We went down the street. So this is the thing, in San Francisco, we have the huge Pride parade that, takes over Market Street and, the hundreds of thousands of people. And so, of course, we recreated that in Ukiah with our parade, which took over half of the street, going down. I think it was from like Black Oak Roasters, and it went down to, kind of the courthouse area where there's a park outside.
Wow.
But we took over that half of the street, and it was pretty awesome. We were getting honks and waves, and, the people that weren't involved with it were also very supportive. So it was really fun. It was a good day.
And that was pre-pandemic?
That was definitely pre-pandemic, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, that was fun was, remembering that drag queens melt in the sunshine. So we'll see what happens to me at Freshtival. Like, you might find me, like, hiding behind chilled kegs. It may end up being like an Easter egg, like drag queen hunt, where I'm just like hiding, to find cool places and then jumping back out on stage. Because it's going to be summer, right? Like, it's going to be beautiful and warm and sunny, which are all the things that, are dangerous for drag queens.
And beer. So we're coming up on all these commonalities here. Like, there'll be plenty of refrigeration handy for you where we can keep you fresh, so that you won't melt, because we've got to keep all this beer fresh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might, I might end up in a bucket of ice on stage. You never know what'll happen. I remember being up in Ukiah, like, for Pride and being like, oh, right. it's really warm up here. This is like the city, the fog rolls in, like you at least get a respite around 3 or 4 p.m. in most areas. It starts cooling down. It's like, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's something I've never heard anthropologically investigated, but perhaps the drag culture in San Francisco is so robust because it is literally never hot.
It's totally possible.
Yeah.
Like we're in a little terrarium here.
Yeah.
And that's also why you see a lot of drag queens at night, and the drag queens during the day, you usually see, at the street festival or at a really big event, because it's like, oh, if we have to come out in the sunshine, it's trepidatious.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of clothes, a lot of wigs, a lot of makeup. That's tough.
A lot of glue.
A lot of glue, probably.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that go into it. Hours and hours of beating our face, and lots of layers of clothing too. Even when I try not to wear lots of layers of clothing, it's virtually impossible. I'm always like, I'm going to do a simple drag look.
A simple drag look. Yeah.
It's a simple drag look. But yeah, much like beer, we do better when we're refrigerated and kept cold, and we're better when we're fresh.
Oh, perfect. That sums it all up.
Podcast pull quote.
Yeah.
Right. Drag queens are better when fresh.
Yeah.
Who knew how on theme we were when we asked you to host?
Right. And that's not about age. It's just about how long it's been since I put on my makeup.
Right.
It's not about the age of the queen. It's just like, how long has it been since they got ready?
Right. Applications and reapplications.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how Trixie became Trixie? How did you find your way to the stage?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a little bit of a honey baked ham.
Sure.
Since I was younger, I've always loved performing, and I used to do, living room performances and lip syncs in my living room. So before I even kind of came to the drag table, I had, a very good handle on lip syncing and a kind of performance. I wouldn't say it's a character because it's more just me, a performance style of my own. So when I moved to San Francisco, I'd been a club kid for years. I'd been going out to nightclubs and go-go dancing, and all of my go-go dancing involved lip syncing, which would make people really annoyed and uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, that must be hard for you to be uncomfortable.
Right.
Oh. Enjoy. And I would have sometimes even props, and I would have backup dancers. And so there was this kind of natural transition to where somebody had mentioned, like, you should go try to do drag when I moved to San Francisco. And I was like, whoa, really? Like, I don't know. Is that a thing for me? And come to find out, there were other women. It was a smaller niche when I first started, but there were other women, because I'm a cis woman, doing drag even at that time. And there was a group of queens that were very punk rock, very much club kids, kind of like myself, but also doing drag. And doing really avant-garde, alternative, kind of cutting edge drag. And they were all, very much feminists in their own right. Cis men, people who, were between genders, or trans people that were there. There was this whole kind of like petri dish of awesomeness happening when I started doing drag. And feminism was really important to them. So it was like, if you are fierce, you will not be kept from the stage, regardless of what bits you have on your body or how you identify. It's all about, the performance and what you're doing. We were also very political at that time.
Yeah.
So that was, we call it T Shack now, because it was the T word, which, at the time was kind of a flag for, are you one of the freaky deaky people on the edge of society who should be hanging out with us,
Sure.
making things change and forcing things to change faster, which I think we did. And that started at the Stud. So I was at the Stud for years. And when I first started doing drag too, it was definitely kind of a challenge where it was like, all right, I didn't have a drag mother, to bring me into the fold and to do my makeup for the first time. I went up to the person booking the club and was like, I want to do your club. And they were like, okay, email me. And then I emailed them and they didn't get back. And I was like, no, I really want to do your club. And they were like, okay, well, we'll put you into a competition called the Gong Show. Right? Like
wow.
the show that
like
used
the
to happen
show.
where you get
right.
Yeah, where you get gonged off the stage if they don't like your drag number.
Cold as ice.
And I was like, I'll show you. And I love this story because I showed up, and that night, the booking person, who's Heclina, who's a very well-known drag queen and a really good friend of mine now, because we've known each other for decades. But she was like, so do you care, what number you go in the lineup, And I'm like, no. She goes, okay, you'll go first. And I was like, oh my God, she's setting me up for failure. It's going to be a disaster. But I was doing Hall & Oates. I was doing Private Eyes. I had 2 backup dancers. We had trench coats. We had choreography where we ripped away our Velcro shirts. Like, I was like, we're gonna win this. Like, and Heclina's gonna book me, for like the rest of time. And what happened? I won. And Heclina has had to book me for the rest of time.
Yeah.
I just performed with her like a month ago.
Awesome.
I'm wondering then, because R.I.P. the stud.
Dang.
We lost the stud.
Yeah. It's unbelievable all the places we're losing in San Francisco. It's unbelievable. But yeah, that one was a really hard one.
And I know that there was some organizing of like the quote unquote stud collective after that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, are you aware of any progress of bringing that venue or one like it back to life?
I haven't heard of any progress with the Stud Collective getting a new venue. I know that they still exist and all those people are still around. I will say, like, a lot of the queens that performed at the Stud have moved on to other venues for now, at least, like the Powerhouse in South Market or Oasis, which I try to perform at a lot, which is at 11th and Folsom. I'll be doing a show this month. Another Hall & Oates tribute. I'm really, Hall & Oates started my whole drag career, so I really love them and try to do tributes to them when I can.
And this one has a HenHouse connection, does it not?
Wait, what was the HenHouse connection? What am I not?
Has Josh lost his job on the bass?
Oh my gosh, no. Not at all. I mean, Josh Staples could not possibly lose a job with me. It's all about whether or not he's available to play with me. So yeah, Josh Staples is going to be playing bass in Maneater. If it gets posted after the show, it will have already happened. But it's going to be May 12th at Oasis, and he is my bassist. He's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are great admirers of Josh around these parts.
He's so talented. It's crazy. So, yeah.
So he seemed to think that there was the 12th, which sadly will likely be after this gets posted. But he seemed to think there might be a encore performance on the 29th.
Okay. Well, this is the thing, you guys. You can't tell anyone.
Oh.
Tell everyone.
Got it.
Love it.
There is a possibility that we will have an extension on May 29th at Oasis, which would be amazing. So we're kind of holding that date tentatively. It depends on how things go. But also, I had a triptych of shows that I did kind of when Oasis opened. And it was Maneater, my tribute to Hall & Oates, Maniac, my tribute to Flashdance, where I do the whole Flashdance soundtrack.
Okay.
And then the pièce de, excuse me while a siren goes by because I live in San Francisco.
Sure.
And the pièce de résistance, which Josh also I want to play bass in because he needs to because he's another huge Cure fan. So that show is Misintegration, a tribute to Disintegration by The Cure. So I do the whole Disintegration album.
Wow.
And with all these shows, I gather up a band. And then I get in drag and I sing and kind of bring in this drag element to all the shows. So I really hope at one of these points, I'm able to get the shows up to Sonoma County too, for people who can't make it down to the city. I would love to do them up there.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
That's
a lot of great
that's
venues.
the secret that everyone should know. Yeah. Is that, I also have that dream.
Bryce, if you're listening, the gentleman who is putting together the Freshtival lineup and handling that for us at SoMo, has got a relationship with a number of venues over here too. So let's make sure and work him when we're there on June 25th.
And Josh and I have been actually collaborating a lot. So we've known each other since I was a wee teen, and I always looked up to him and thought he was just the coolest. So then when we became friends, I was like, wow, I've got this really cool friend, like, who's really talented. I hope we can play gigs together. And we just did a goth night in Petaluma at the Big Easy too.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping to come up to Sonoma County more and collaborate with him and, his group of friends and HenHouse and all y'all more and do some more events, because I can't wait for the festival. I'm like, okay, this is like, I feel like the kickoff of us doing more and more stuff, kind of connecting San Francisco and Sonoma County, which needs to happen,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we're
I feel
sister twins.
I feel like demographically too, the not hinting at your age, but at Bob and I's age, we're seeing a lot.
Right.
We're seeing a lot of our peers who kind of spent their formative years in the Bay somewhere coming up this way to raise families.
Right.
And I'm sure they miss the kind of quality entertainment that you and yours provide now that they're up here. So we should bring it to
Y'all
them.
need to be entertained.
Exactly.
And I want to do it. And the more we do it, the more connections, hopefully, for other drag queens up there, too, there'll be. Because I know there are people performing drag in Sonoma County right now that I don't know, and I should, and I would love to. So, drag queens of Sonoma County and the northern regions as well, hit me up. Let's get in contact. Let's do things.
Yeah.
Very exciting. We should clarify, because when you're saying these Man-Eater and these other shows, you're singing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's the lip syncing piece, and then there's the actual lead vocal piece.
I find that fascinating.
So there's two camps of drag that I cross between all the time, which are the lip sync camp and the live vocal camp. And when you go to other countries, sometimes they're used to the drag queens singing and not lip syncing. I think with the rise of shows like RuPaul's Drag Race, which is based around lip syncing, it's become far more common for most drag queens to lip sync songs. But, singing has always actually been a very important element of drag. And I was one of those people that was like, I can go both ways.
Yeah.
I'm very flexible with my abilities. So I was like, I don't want to just get locked in this box where I have to always lip sync. Although that was another funny thing that I would do all the time. I would lip sync, I'm a big Cure fan. I love club music from the 80s. I have very good taste. And then I also have my novelty taste. And so I would end up lip syncing things in a way, not to offend any of the bands that I love, but to make a crowd of very avid listeners of alternative music cringe. So I would bring in Lionel Richie. And I would lip sync Lionel Richie. I would, bring in a Journey song before Yacht Rock was even an idea. I was, doing Doobie Brothers at the Stud, where everyone else was doing Pixies and Susie. And I was like, I love all those bands, but you're all already doing that.
Right.
So I need to do something different. So I'm going to do, What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers. And everyone's just going to be like, I like it, but I feel uncomfortable. I don't know how to feel right now. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, that's exactly, that would be me at a drag experience when the Doobie Brothers come on. I'd be like, ugh, but this is awesome.
Oh, come on. Good. Michael McDonald.
Can take a long walk off a short pier.
Oh, come on. If you were talking about...
I can't believe you're saying that about Michael.
Thank you. Talk about having a signature.
Okay,
Mr.
you guys,
McDonald.
okay, here's the real cringe. When I did, Amy Grant and Peter Cetera. Next time I fall. And we had the whole club, they were all just gagging because they loved it. But it was like, how are we hearing the softest of the softest rock right now in the most crazy club, you know?
I think a key component to those kind of songs though is it's the selling it. You know what I mean? Those songs without if you don't think Michael McDonald believes the shit he's saying, woo, do those songs suck.
Right.
But he makes you believe that he really misses that girl, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also it's the context of it, right? So, when I did What a Fool Believes, it was all about Again, I might offend some overly zealous people, but it was all about religion. And it was, kind of very, a very politically motivated drag number. So a lot of those drag numbers, too, were, there were multiple levels going on. And then when we did a punk night at the Stud, way later, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to do a Crass song,
Respect.
Cut in with Spit Boy song, and almost, nobody in the audience except for 3 people knew who Spit Boy was. And I was like, you 3 are amazing.
Yeah.
It was somebody else, I think, did Avril Lavigne. And I was like, no, this isn't ironic.
Right.
They really think this is punk rock. There's no irony here. No. know. So I think, that the ironic twist was very important in my drag.
I got to ask which Crass song. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to pay attention to anything else to ask this question.
No, it's all right. It was, Do They Owe Us a Living?
Oh, of course they fucking do. Thank you, Trixie. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I should swear. I would have gone right into it. But I was lip syncing the Crass song, and then it turned into a mosh pit. And I was like, that's right. Those 3 people were moshing, and the rest of the people were like, I weren't sure, I think, if they knew the song or not. And I was like, damn, like the theme is punk. Like,
right.
I think that was one of the inspirations for me to really start being a little less ironic and being a little more educational in my numbers and in my shows, where I was like, I really do need to do the Susie song. Yeah. Because somebody in this audience might not know who Susie Sue is. I really do need to do the Cure song, or I really do need to, do the Depeche Mode tribute.
For the kids.
For the children.
Yeah.
Those, 20-something children.
Yeah. Finally,
think of them,
someone is thinking of the children.
You got to rescue him from Avril Lavigne.
Right.
I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. But yeah, so I was like, all right, we need to bring back, I can't help myself, so I have to do Maneater because I just love it. But also I'm going back to the classics of, the club repertoire, the Rolodex of Fierce, where it's like Soft Cell and all the synth bands.
Sure.
And, yeah, there's just so much good music that I'm not hearing enough of right now. And I think people are starved for it. So a lot of my drag numbers are around those kinds of bands now too, where I'm like, all right. And that's why I had to do the Goth Club in Petaluma too. I was like, come on.
That's what's up.
We love Joy Division. We love New Order.
Yeah.
We're nailing it. We are layering cultures on top of cultures here with the Freshtival. And I'm very, very pleased to hear that. Trixie, how much do you know about the Freshtival?
I don't know that much. I was just going to say, I'm really excited to hear new music, too, because I know we're going to have bands there that I have not heard yet, which is really exciting. All I know about the Freshtival is that there's going to be a ton of beers, that they're all fresh beers, which I don't even really understand, how quick the turnaround was, because it seemed like it was really fast.
Really fast.
What the cutoff date was for fresh seemed like, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I know it's going to be a really big event, and I'm excited about that. But I don't know that much yet. I just got booked recently.
Yeah.
And it was this is a dream of mine that I've had through the pandemic coming true. I was like, I wish, I want HenHouse to do a big festival, and I want to be involved with it and be there, and it's happening. So
you've manifested it. And what we'll be manifesting at the Somo Village is a bunch of great breweries from near and far, all with beer that is 7 days old or younger. Really, really fresh beer. And it's going to kind of teach everybody what they're missing if they're drinking old, sad, beat-up beer that's been, left out to melt in the sun like a drag queen on a hot August afternoon.
Like a sad drag queen in the summer. I've been that queen. We're good. You can use us for cooking, too, if we get to that level.
Love the callback. And then
7 days.
Yes, 7 days.
7 days is
7 days.
Okay, so a week.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, that's exciting.
So the idea there being that brewery fresh beer is something that is accessible to folks now because so many breweries are paying attention to retail, but brewery fresh beer variety therefore is not, right? Because you're going to a producer and you're going to get that producer's beer. The change in behavior where everybody is going to breweries now demonstrates that people understand how much more extraordinary the brewery fresh experience is. So we're going to bring 80 different breweries with brewery fresh beer together so that we can bring the variety piece and the freshness piece together. On top of that, you're going to see SoCo Market, which is a local community market of all small millennial-owned businesses selling everything from plants to vintage clothing to candles. You're going to see the Art of Freshness Gallery. It's an art gallery comprised entirely of folks whose work has been on a beer can. And then, of course, on the stage where you'll be holding court, Trixie, we've got Artilia Green in the bandanas. We've got Down Dirty Shake, which is a local band here that is starting to really bubble. We've got Bad Thoughts, which includes our boy Derek Nielsen, a HenHouse employee, and La Gente SF, Latin band from the city. and then reprising their triumphant turn on the decks in 2019, Sarah Vinyl Collective, which also includes Gabe, who we've had on the podcast, who's a HenHouse employee. So those will be the sounds from the stage. Tons of amazing fresh beer, tons of delicious food, Camacho's barbecue. I'm doing this all from memory.
Yeah, we got Sally Tomatoes providing food for folks.
Tomatoes providing food. Diggy Dogs, like a fancy hot dog thing out of Oakland is going to be there. So yeah, it should just hopefully be like whatever you're into, you can celebrate it with a beer in your hand that is in pristine brewery fresh condition.
So here's another question I have. So there's going to be 80 breweries there, right?
Yeah.
How do I get the most tastes of fresh beer without getting completely annihilated?
So you keep your eye on the ABV. Your glass is already going to be small, and you got to exercise. The way to exercise discipline is not once it's in your glass, because no one has that kind of self-control.
Right.
But if you see that you're asking for a beer that's over 8, you request a shorter pour. Because then it's on them to regulate, right? Because, yeah, of course, once it's in your glass, if it turns out it's delicious, you're finishing that small glass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but if you're just like, hey, I noticed, and I'm trying to make my way through here, and then you got to have a strategy. You're going to miss some, you got to pick and choose, but, anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
Right.
And it's way better to have too many options than not enough.
And just, lots of water in between. Stay hydrated while you're enjoying yourself. Beer, water. Maybe 2 waters.
Maybe some barbecue.
Yeah.
Maybe a vegan hot dog.
Yeah.
And then right back in line for more beer.
Because I got to start planning for myself, too, because I'm going to want to try the beers. But I'm like, all right, I'm also going to be performing. So I'm like, all right, with a heavy dose of caution.
You know what we should do? We should this is a volunteer role I'm going to put up right now. Trixie's beer liaison and handler.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
So you're working the room. You're being like, oh, this one is not to be missed. You get it. You bring it to Trixie.
Right.
So you got somebody curating your experience. I bet you we can find a HenHouse employee for this role.
Totally.
Word.
I love that.
A couple. You can have like a whole entourage. We'll figure this out.
Well, and I'm working right now on the concept. I haven't done very well yet, but I'm working on the concept of becoming a beer sommelier. I would like to, and I don't know what that's called because I know there's probably already.
It's called a Cicerone, and you're talking to 2 of them right now.
Yo.
Really?
Yeah.
Teach me your ways.
Absolutely.
That's like literally something we've both done for a living. Say when.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. I was already excited, but now I know I'm going to learn so much more.
Absolutely.
Cool. We got a Google Drive full of resources we can share with you.
Yeah.
You're in the family now.
That's so weird.
Absolutely.
Yay! You know what else I'm excited about too is the restaurant in Fairfax that I keep hearing about.
Have you
very
been?
excited about that. No.
It's
I want to
open.
go.
Say when.
Okay. Yeah. I got to
West
visit
County
it.
Pub. They would be excited to have you. They'll be excited to have anyone who's listening right now.
Indeed. Come on through. I need to get back there. I've been there. I've eaten once.
Yeah.
The food looked so good. I looked at the menu. I was looking at it like, which is the other thing too. I'm gonna have to look up online and see the food vendors as well who are going to be at the Freshtival, because a well-known fact about me is that I can eat. I'm very good at eating.
Okay, well, I don't that list. I know Camacho's is booked. I know Diggy Dogs is booked. I know Sally Tomatoes will be there because it's their home.
All right.
We sent a big list to the festival organizers that included kind of the all-stars of food trucks that show up at our tasting rooms, and that's where we were starting with. So I know it'll be great. I just don't know which of the great. That list will be culled for folks that are actually there. But I know Camacho's is confirmed, which not to start a fight, I would say is the kind of consensus top-notch barbecue in Sonoma County.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm starting to fight. I don't know.
And I'm sure every drag artist is just dying to get some goopy ribs that are just going to make like a huge mess everywhere. But, it's worth it. Work that into part of your act.
We make it work.
Yeah.
We always make it work. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
And drag queens are also always excited about, thick, juicy wieners.
Exactly.
So if there, are some of those there.
I can confirm. Can confirm. All right. Well, Trixie, thank you so much for spending the time with us. We cannot wait to see you on the 25th. And let's have a really good time.
I can't wait to see you all as well. If anybody wants to look me up beforehand, it's Trixie with 2 X's, I-E, not a Y, Carr with 2 R's. There's my website at TrixieCarr.com. I have music because I also make music at Bandcamp.
I was rocking out to Rotisserie Booty today.
Yes. Oh, that song. It's about chicken and strippers. rotisserie booty. But I'm very easy to find on the Google and on the searches on iTunes and Spotify and Bandcamp and all the things. So feel free to look me up. And I cannot wait to be there with you and to experience this Freshtival. It seems like it's just going to be so incredible, and I can't wait. It's going to be a great time.
Badass.
Thanks for making it even better.
Oh, yeah. You're very welcome. Thank you for having me, and I can't wait, guys.
Thanks,
See you
Trixie.
soon. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
HenHouse Unruffled was created by Anna Scott. We record at HenHouse Brewing Company's Palace of Barrels in Petaluma, California. Our producer is Brian Henderson, and our associate producers are Josh Staples and Fridge. The music you've been listening to was written and performed by our San Francisco account rep McLean from his album Speechless and Speechless 2, which you can find on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, and anywhere one finds dope music. If you have a question or comment about this or any episode of HenHouse Unruffled, please let us know by calling 707-347-9425 to leave a message. You can also send an email to podcast@henhousebrewing.com. For more information, visit www.henhousebrewing.com or stop by one of our Bay Area tasting rooms. The voice you've been listening to is Imani Russell Black. Please listen and drink responsibly.